Hello, everybody. TylerPreston here, and of course, I'm just doing yet another live stream for you guys to just react to articles and video clips and to answer you guys' questions and answer. So, the first thing immediately that we're going to do is to take this 8 values test. Now, I know for a fact, of course, that one of you guys in the last episode actually asked me to take this test for some strange reason. So the first thing we're going to do is take this test and see my results from it. How's it going, Tyler? I'm doing great. How are you doing, man? Welcome to the live stream. So let's go to the test right here and take it right here. Let's see. You will be presented with a series of statements. For each one, click on the button with your opinion on it. Okay, let's see the questions then. Oppression by corporations is more of a concern than oppression by governments. That's actually a really hard question. I think both corporations and also governments could be really dangerous because normally, of course, if you give corporations too much power, of course, you get a Twitter situation right now. And so I'm not sure about that. I would say I'm kind of neutral on this whole entire topic right here. Let's see the next question. It is necessary for the government to intervene into the economy to protect customers. I would say maybe some sort of regulation. Sure, why not? Agree. The freer the market, the freer the people. I guess I strongly agree with that. It is better to maintain a balanced budget than to ensure welfare for all citizens. That's actually a really hard question. I do, in fact, believe in sort of welfare state system or whatever, right? But sometimes people do, in fact, get to depend on this whole entire topics. Sometimes there are some welfare queens that take advantage of the system. So I would say I agree. Let's see. Publicly funded research is more beneficial to the people than to leaving it to the market. I'm not sure. That's really hard. That's a really hard question. Tirades on international trade are important to encourage local protections. Sure. From each according to his ability to each according to his needs. Sure. If we best for social programs were abolished in favor of private charity. I disagree. Taxes should be increased on the rich to provide for the poor. Sometimes I don't like how, billionaires and millionaires actually, get so much money, but find so many loopholes to pay so little taxes. And so do I want to tax and eat the rich? Is that the question? I would say, sure, why not? Inheritance is a legitimate form of wealth, sure. Basic utilities like roads and electricity should be publicly owned, sorry. Sure, we're paying our taxes, why not? Government intervention is a threat to the economy. Sometimes, I guess regulations could be government interference. But I guess sometimes the rules sometimes aren't fair. So, yeah, it's kind of hard. I would say I'm unsure about that. Those with a greater ability to pay should receive better health care. I disagree. I believe in some sort of universal health care for everybody. Quality education is a right for all people. I highly agree. The means of production should belong to the workers who use them. Strongly agree. The United Nations should be abolished. That's a really, really good question. Mostly because basically, the United Nations have been slacking off. I think it should probably be reformed, then abolished. So that's a good question here. So I would say I disagree. Military action by our nation is often necessary to protect it. It kind of depends, if there's a war going on, obviously, of course, if someone were to attack you, you use some sort of self-defense. So, do I agree with any type of military action, no matter the cost? Absolutely not. Like, I honestly want to be as little war as possible. That's a given. But I guess if someone were to attack us, and we were to attack them back, I guess I wouldn't necessarily disagree with. So I would say disagree. I support the regional unions such as the European Union. Highly disagree. The European Union is pretty much, really, really terrible for free speech. There was this one bill I remember where basically it was going to crack down on those using like footage from other videos and remixing it as part of fair use, as well as going after gameplay videos, as well as the like what was that sort of like some sort of link tax, I believe. So I would say I strongly disagree. Not just disagree, strongly disagree. It's important to maintain our national sovereignty. Sure, I highly agree. Let me look at the whole entire comment section right here before I go on. Hey, how you doing? Hey, what's up, man? A long time no see. Hey, what's up? How you doing? Let's see, Tyler. There should be a balanced budget, but efforts need to be provided like social programs, i.e., welfare with reason, and the goal of getting people off the system eventually. Exactly. Exactly. It was really cool being on a stream with you and Loudmouth Reviews. I agree, man. It's really been really, really fun. Like, a matter of fact, I haven't seen Loudmouth Reviews in a long time. I think it has been like a year since he was online, so hopefully he'll come back soon. Now, I guess let's get back to the questions like for this test right here. A united world government will be beneficial to mankind. Hell no. Hell freaking no. Like nations to have their own personal sovereignty. Thanks, but no thanks. It is more important to retain peaceful relations than to further our strength. Excuse me. I would say I agree. Wars do not need to be justified to other countries. I strongly disagree. Military spending is a waste of money. Well, it seems as though we do use more money in the military than the wants of the people. So I wouldn't say it's necessarily a waste of money per se, but we just spend so much money on the military than the people, than the citizens. So I would say I would say I agree. International aid is a waste of money. I disagree. My nation is great. Of course, United States is awesome. USA, USA, USA. So I agree. Strongly agree. Research should be conducted on an international scale. Sure, why not? Government should be accountable to the international community. I strongly agree. Even when protesting an authoritative government, violence is not acceptable. That's like a really hard question. That's like really hard because I know what's going on in Hong Kong, and basically what's happening there is that the Hong Kong people are literally, being oppressed by the Chinese government. And I've seen like a lot of these videos, and they were just going out and just beating the police, and they beating them back and going back and forth. But that's like a really difficult question. That's like a really difficult question. But then again, like the foundation of the United States was literally founded on the idea of resisting authoritative ideas. So that's really hard. I would say, I would disagree. Let's see. My religious values should be spread as much as possible. Personally, I'm not religious. I'm, de facto atheist type, so I don't necessarily feel the need to spread my personal lack thereof belief to everybody else. Plus, I don't really talk about this kind of stuff on my channel anyway. So yeah, I strongly disagree. Our nation values should be spread as much as possible. Sure, the idea of, free speech, the Second Amendment, the whole entire Constitution should probably be spread. At the same time, of course, nations should have, their rights to be sovereign nations to do whatever they want to. But generally speaking, I think our ideas in the states is a blueprint for everybody else. So I agree. It is very important to maintain law and order. I strongly agree. The general populace makes poor decisions. I strongly agree a lot. Mostly because, sometimes you see, I don't necessarily have much faith in humanity. And so the main reason why I don't have much faith in humanity is because, like, a lot of our people and our government are, very, really terrible. Like, a lot of people do, like, a lot of dumb things. So I don't have much faith in humanity, to be honest. A physician assisted suicide should be legal. I would say I agree, mostly because I know for a fact, like, during the last moments in somebody's life, that is really, really hard. Like, really, really hard to, keep on going on. And so sometimes I do understand why people want assisted suicide. The sacrifice of some civil liberties is necessary to protect us from acts of terrorism. I strongly, strongly disagree. Mostly because we have, like, the Patriot Act, which pretty much just tumples all our rights. And of course, the FBI just spying on the citizens. And of course, like, Microsoft and these corporations just sending out the data to these kind of, whatever, to the government. So no, 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 no. Government surveillance is necessary in the modern world. I strongly disagree. The very existence of a state is a threat to our liberty. What am I, an anarchist? I strongly disagree. Regardless of political opinions, is it important to side with your country? No. Not all the time, no. If their country is making bad decisions, I'm not going to side with America. And if it make good decisions, I'll probably side with it. But, like, no, just because, I live in a country does not mean I have to agree with every single last action. So, no, I disagree. All authority should be questioned. Strongly agree. Strongly. A heretical state is best. I disagree. It's important that the government follows the majority opinion, even if it's wrong. That's like, the whole purpose of, the United States is not just, the minority opinion, like the majority opinion, because if that was the case, we wouldn't have the electoral college and whatever. So I disagree. Let's see, the stronger the leadership, the better. I agree. Democracy is more than a decision-making process. That's kind of neutral. Environmental regulations are essential, I agree, because I cannot just trust corporations at all. A better world will come from automation, science, and technology. I strongly agree. Children should be educated in religious or traditional values. I think, children should be educated to whatever fits the parents the best. So, yeah, I would say neutral for that one. Traditions are of no value on their own. I mean, not true, because obviously, of course, traditions have some sort of values to those who live in the country. Like, holidays are a great example. Like, when you have stuff like Christmas or Easter or Halloween or whatever, right? Of course, the traditions that are kept every single year is, like, valuable. So, yeah, there are some traditions that are, in fact, valuable, I say. So, I disagree. Religion should play a role in the government. Hell fucking no. Hell no. Churches should be taxed the same way of other institutions are taxed. I would say, like, it kind of depends on the church. Obviously, of course, since like a lot of churches are, like, they're meant to be like charities and help other people out. Obviously, they're not meant to be taxed. I don't think they should be taxed at all. But if a church is making like a large sum of money, and of course buying airplanes and stuff, then I think they should be taxes. So I would say I agree for that part, for that latter part. Climate change is currently one of the greatest threats to our way of life. The greatest threat to our way of life is probably humans, actually. I still, in fact, believe in climate change, but I have more fear of humans than climate change. That's the thing, but see, I'll probably, disagree. It's important that we work as a united world to combat climate change. Sure, why not? Society was much better many years ago than it is now? I would probably say like yes, because back when I was growing up, things were not taken as offensive, and of course like the '90s was like the best decade. So I agree. It's important that we maintain a tradition of our past. I mean, it kind of depends on the traditions. Like there are some things that are meant to be conserved, and there are some that are meant not to be conserved. So I would probably say like in the neutral, in the neutral. It's important that we think in the long term beyond our lifespan. Sure, why not? Reason is more important than maintaining our culture. Well, why not both? Why not both? So neutral answer. Drug use should be legalized or decriminalized. I highly agree. Same-sex marriage should be legal. I highly agree. No cultures are superior to others. I strongly disagree. Mostly because I think, of course, American culture or the Western culture is obviously to me, of course, better than many cultures that are like in the Middle East. And the main reason I say that is because they have like a lack of human rights. It's not because they're Muslim or whatever. It's because there's like no human rights for gay people. There's like no human rights for women or men, whatever. Like basically those Middle Eastern countries, I think, have an inferior kind of culture in comparison to like our culture that we have in North America and Europe and whatever. So that's the main reason why. Sex outside of marriage is immoral. I don't really care either way, so disagree. If we accept migrants at all, it's important that they assimilate into our culture. I agree. If I were, for example, go to Spain or Mexico or France or any other country that is not like United States, obviously I would prioritize, learning the language and try to learn as much of the culture and the history as possible. So that's a given. Obviously, of course, for me, of course, I speak okay Spanish, and so I could just go to any sort of Spanish-speaking country, be okay. But generally, like, of course, if you come to a country and you don't learn the language or respect the culture, obviously, what's the point of you being there in the first place? That's my thoughts. Abortion should be prohibited in most and all cases. I disagree. I'm kind of pro-life, hesitantly because I really hate I'm not pro-life, pro-choice, sorry. Mostly because the main reason why I'm pro-choice hesitantly because like a lot of like the whole entire like pro-choice movement has been so cringe and literally barbaric. Like so I really hate the pro-choice movement. But as far as the whole entire issue about abortion, I do think they should have a right to abort. So I disagree that it should be prohibited in most and all cases. Gun ownership should be prohibited for those without any valid reason. I disagree. I support a single-payer universal health care, sure. Prostitution should be illegal. I disagree. It doesn't make any sense to me why, of course, prostitution is illegal. Mostly because I think, of course, prostitution is the way that, of course, people make money. With, of course, there are some, of course, if you were to legalize prostitution, of course, it'd be much more safer to those women and men that work in the sex work. But also, just people in general want to just have sex. It doesn't make any sense to make some sort of consensual act illegal. It's consensual between adults, so why make it illegal? It just doesn't make any sense to me. Maintaining family values is essential, sure. To chase progress at all costs is dangerous. I disagree. Now, there's probably such a thing as too much progress. But, of course, some progress is good. I think that way. Genetic modification is a force for good, even on humans. I'm not sure about that, honestly. We should open our border to immigration. I really hate that question that was framed, though. Like, basically, the question was framed that if you were to say no to it, it'd make you, like a bigot or whatever, but, it's kind of multi-complex. You see, because obviously, of course, our nation is made up of immigrants, right? And so you cannot necessarily take everybody at once. That's impossible. So I think, of course, like you have to make immigration limited. So I would probably, disagree, I guess. Government should be as concerned about foreigners as they are about their own citizens. I would say like the government should be focused more on its citizens than foreigners. So I disagree. All people, regardless of factors like culture or sexuality, should be treated equal, of course. It's important that we further my group's goal above any others. I'm not sure. All right, let's see the results. Okay, for economic access, I'm socially, for equality, more than markets. For diplomatic, I'm kind of balanced. For like the civil access, I'm more liberal. And of course, the societal access, I'm progressive. So it looks like the closest match to me is like social liberalism. Okay. Ideological matching is a work in progress and much less accurate than the values and axes. Yeah, of course not. Why not? So yeah, that's my results for all of this. So I'm gonna read the questions to some of the people. Let's see. Hey Tyler, hello. Hey, what's up? I'm so glad someone's actually talking to me on Twitch right now. That's awesome. Let's see. 23 disagree, but the problem is when the military and RED gives insanity over budget. Let's see. I disagree. Demos is not for everyone. Let's see. Strongly disagree for 24. It's like there needs to be a fucking no option to question 35. Exactly. Yeah. Agree. Okay, so let's go to the next thing that's on my list of stuff to talk about for you guys, because I found this video and I think it's one of the funniest things ever. So hold on, I'm gonna load the page up and I'm gonna show you guys what I mean when it means funny. So let's see, loading. All right, this is from of course about Americans getting vaccinated and stuff. So let's see some more.
In more healthcare settings and respond to hotspots. The president will outline 5 areas his team is focused on to get more Americans vaccinated. 1, targeted community by community door-to-door outreach to get remaining Americans vaccinated by ensuring they have the information they need on how both safe and accessible the vaccine is. 2, a renewed emphasis on getting the vaccines to more primary care doctors and physicians.
Now, first and foremost, before I respond to this thing, and before somebody clips this live stream and put it out of context, right? I am not against vaccines. I am not against people getting the coronavirus vaccine. And matter of fact, I got 2 vaccines myself. It was the Moderna brand. And of course, some of the side effects that I got were really nasty. Of course, the stuff that I got after the 2 Moderna shots. Number 1, I kind of felt a lot of soreness on my arm. I felt really, really sleepy and really dehydrated. And so I had to drink a lot of water during the whole entire recovery process for those 2 vaccines. It was not fun. It was not fun at all for those vaccines. Now that being said, of course, as far as this whole entire, situation with the vaccines, should Americans be forced to vaccinate themselves for the coronavirus? Honestly, I think it's up to personal choice. Mostly because according to the data of what I've seen so far, is that the vaccines don't necessarily prevent you from getting the coronavirus. You can still get the vaccine and you can still get the virus. And so I think it's a personal decision on whether a person should get the vaccine or not. So when she starts talking about how we need to go door to door to force people out of their own free will to get a vaccine, I'm not sure about that. I think that should actually, of course, be up to the individual to actually choose to get the vaccine or not. Again, I want to further emphasize I'm not anti-vaccination. I got 2 freaking Moderna vaccinations myself. So don't take this the wrong way, guys. Please don't take this the wrong way. Okay. So let's go to the next clip right here. This clip comes directly from Spain. So what I'm going to do right here, I'm going to pause the clip, then translate, pause, translate, pause, translate. You know, you guys know the drill. So this comes directly from Spain. And it's like the funniest thing ever, man. It's like so funny. Hold on, it's gonna, come really shortly. All right, there's like the page right here, and so here I'm gonna try, wait for like the advertisement to go away, then I'm gonna, translate it.
Poniendo ese consentimiento. Tenemos que transformar la cultura sexual poniendo.
Okay, we had to transform the sexual culture.
Ese consentimiento de la mujer en el centro de nuestra mirada.
Okay, so putting like, the emphasis. Oh, hold on, let me try to listen to that again. Hold on, let's see. The whole thing first.
Tenemos que transformar la cultura sexual poniendo ese consentimiento de la mujer en el centro de nuestra mirada.
So basically, she's saying that, of course, like we need to, talk like the sexual culture, and that we need to put like women's consent at the front of everything else. So that's what she's saying right here.
Y la cuestión que queremos transmitir desde el gobierno es muy clara.
And of course, like the answer from the government is, of course, really, really clear. Let's see.
Tú no quieres, no tienes que participar en ningún acto sexual.
Oh my God, this is like the funniest thing. So basically, towards the end, she said, you don't have to participate in any sex acts if you don't want to. Oh my God, that is like, why would the Spanish government actually say that actually? Like, why would the Spanish government be so concerned if any sort of person, have some sort of like sex in their own bedroom? That is funny, man. That is so freaking funny. Like, wow. Wow. Let's see. In Spain, like 80% of abortions are not related to health issues. I did not know that. Yo, what's up, man? Welcome to the stream. Let's see. Did you get the Moderna med as a side effect? As a side effect, excuse me. That's funny, man. All right, the next thing I'm gonna show you guys is this clip right here. So hold on. This one is gonna be, of course, really, really funny. Now, right here is actually an article that was like featured like Brianna Wu. And of course, the article says, Big Tech pledges to do better, battling internet violence against women. History suggests they'll come up short. Oh my God. Oh man, this is going to be good. Hold on. I'm going to try to switch the screens right here. Let's see. I need to share the screen for that article that I just opened up. But like, guys, this article right here is like so bad. It's like super, super bad. Big Tech pledges to do better battling internet violence against women. History suggests they'll come up short. That's funny. 7 years after Gamergate, Facebook, Google, Twitter, and TikTok have collectively pledged to put an end to an open letter calling a pandemic of online abuse against women and girls, the pledge followed a Worldwide Web Federation publication of the letter, which was signed by over 200 influential women, including politicians, celebrities, and came during the UN Women's Generation Equality Forum in Paris. This is a positive and necessary step that these companies have taken, and one should be a springboard for these companies to tackle online abuse against women as a top priority. The pledge comes after 14 months of WWF-sponsored virtual workshop attended by Facebook, Google, Twitter, and TikTok representative, all emerged with plans to provide users with enhanced abilities to control who can see, share, comment on their content, as well as more efficient means to report abuse using new and more comprehensive tools. Yet a timeline for each of the 4 giant implementations have not been shared. It's a balance of being really ambitious about this, making sure that this is our top priority while also being realistic. Brianna Wu, oh my God, Brianna Wu, here we go. Here we go with Brianna Wu right here, guys. Brianna Wu isn't holding her breath. If you're not committing to measuring outcomes, I don't think you're serious. The video game developer tells Forbes. Wu was a prominent target of Gamergate, the notorious campaign of online violence aimed at women in the video game industry that put gender-based internet abuse in the public eye. In 2014, anonymous users post personal information about Wu, including her address, on a 8chan message board. Multiple death and rape threats, among other forms of harassments, including horrific images sent through emails, forced Wu to flee her homes. Now Wu demands more than words. When I read a report that says Facebook is committing to helping women file more harassment reports, that sounds great. But are they putting more budget to people who have responded to them? Are they committing to measuring the degree to which harassment is increasing or decreasing? So anyway, this is kind of funny, man. This is kind of funny. Okay. I had to go to my own podcast, Tyler. Say awesome. Bye, Ernest. Take care. I'll see you later. Let's see. WWE. They actually beat women for money. Exactly. What's up, Doc? Yay. What's up, man? What's up? But it's kind of funny that, of course, like Brianna Wu is the same sort of person that actually was caught many times faking her own harassments. And it's just so weird. Like super, super weird that, of course, she is saying that she was a target of online harassment, where there's like literally evidence, photographs or whatever, of her actually being caught faking her own harassment. So let's continue on with this whole entire article. Let's see. Facebook, which posted on Wednesday about its compliment to advancing its women's safety hub, had made no mention about implementing the WWF pledge directed towards Forbes in its Community Standards Enforcement Report in response to a question about such metrics. The report has a section on bullying and harassment and includes statistics about content action in response to instances therefore, but says nothing about harassment of women in particular, but who are more commonly targeted than men. In fact, the WWF found that 38% of women and girls online, and that the rate are even larger among women from marginalized groups, and particularly the Black and the LGBTQ community. You know, it's kind of strange that all of this stuff, all this sort of campaigning, is all about women harassment, right? But at the same time, though, like harassment could just happen towards men too. Yeah, for some strange reason, like these sort of big companies, like the Bully Hunters campaign, which was a complete failure. All these sort of campaigns, like in United Nations or Facebook or whatever, they only seem to put an emphasis on women and women only. They never talk about, of course, like the struggles that men had to face on like the whole entire issue. So why is it that we always seem to treat harassment as some sort of gender issue, when of course harassment is pretty much like a human issue? But let's see. Twitter and TikTok representatives emphasize safety as a priority, but did not respond to question about how protocols developed at the workshop might measurably abuse women on their platforms. Google too have demerted from discussing the quantifiable results and instead directed Forbes to Medium post by Jigsaw, Google's unit that tracks and analyzes emerging threats. The post recounts Google participation in the WWF pledge and outlines its own digital safety program for women, which aims to ensure the security of women around the world by providing them with necessary skills to protect themselves from violence both online and offline. So yeah, that's like the whole entire article. That was like, really, really long. Like super, super long. So her and her let's see, Hillary Clinton dodged like snipers together. That's funny. Yeah, that's like true, man. That's like, really, really true. Hello, man. How you doing? Welcome to the live stream. They turn police brutality into a race issue. They only see race and sex. Exactly. Exactly, man. All right, there's like one last article I'm gonna take my time on, and then I'm gonna probably end like the episode for you guys. So the last thing that we're gonna, talk about for this whole entire like live stream is the fact that a teachers union actually been caught saying that they want to put like, critical race theory into all of our schools. Now there's like the counter argument, of course, that critical race theory is not being taught by any sort of school whatsoever in the United States. But they literally, of course, have this whole entire thing. And so let's see like hold on, I'm gonna share it. Let me 1 second. I forgot to share it. Okay, here we go. There it is. All right, here we go with this whole entire thing with this teacher union endorsing critical race theory. Now, this comes directly from like the National Education Association. Let's see, the NEA will with guidelines on implementation from the NEA presidents and chairs of the Ethnic Minorities Affairs Councils will share and publicize through existing channels information already available on critical race theory, what is and what is not, have a team of staffers for members who want to learn more and fight back against anti-critical race theory rhetoric, and share information with other NEA members as well as their community members. Provide an already created in-depth study that critiques empire, white supremacy, anti-blackness, anti-indigenousy, racism, patriarchy, cis-hetero patriarchy, capitalism, ableism, oh my god, all these sort of like buzzwords we're saying right now, and other forms of power and oppression at the intersects of our society. And we must oppose attempts to ban critical race theory or the 1619 project, sorry. Let's see, publicly through existing media convey its support for the accurate, honest teaching of social studies topics, including truthful, age-appropriate accountings of unpleasant aspects of American history, such as slavery and the oppression and the discrimination of indigenous, black, brown, and other peoples of color, as well as the continued impact this country has on our current society. The association will further convey that in teaching these topics, it is reasonable and appropriate for curriculum to be informed by academic frameworks for understanding and interpreting the impact of the past on current society, including critical race theory. Let's see, D joined with Black Lives Matter at school and the Zen Education Project to call for a rally this year on October 14th, George Floyd's birthday, as a national day of action to teach lessons about structural racism and oppression, followed by one day of action that recognized and honored lives such as Breonna Taylor, the council name, I cannot pronounce the other word, and the other people. The National Education Association shall publicize the National Days of Action to all its members, including the NEA today. It's kind of funny. They literally said right here that they want to put critical race theory in our school. And not just that, though. They literally said that they want to put Black Lives Matter at school, too. So, what in the fuck? Like, so they have critical race theory plus Black Lives Matter. Like, is it really hard to ask, like, the teachers or school districts or whatever to stay neutral on these topics? Really? Like, this is like a perfect argument, of course, for like homeschool. I'm dead serious. Like, homeschool or private school or anything else, other than public school. But having Black Lives Matter at a public school? Really? Black Lives Matter? That's crazy. All right, let's see. Hold on. Is there anything else to read here? No, there's not anything else. But yeah, that's actually crazy. That's like, really, really crazy. Because like Black Lives Matter has no place in school in the slightest. And neither does like critical race theory. And I already talked about the beliefs of critical race theory. So I'm not going to go over them again. But at the same time, though, like it's so strange. Like, of course, they want to have, of course, Black Lives Matter and critical race theory in all our schools now. Again, these people say that there is no such thing as teaching critical race theories in school. Like, literally, a teachers' union not only endorses the idea in all 50 states, but also want Black Lives Matter. This is more, emanation to, argue against these kind of people. So that's kind of crazy. Critical race theory is Marxist brainwashing. I actually agree. Like, I agree because literally, like, the whole idea of critical race theory actually started at the Frankfurt School. And from the Frankfurt School, we had stuff like critical theory, which pretty much analyzed the whole entire world with a certain lens. And so naturally, of course, critical gender theory analyzed the world within gender, critical race theory with race, and then critical queer theory with gay stuff, etc. And so, obviously, the Frankfurt School is Marxist in nature. Critical race theory comes from critical theory, which is Marxist. So, I agree. I literally agree. They ask everyone to be political, then have it when those who become a political disagree with them. Exactly. Well, the thing about it, though, is like I hate it that how, many people online say, well, you see, if you don't have any sort of political position or you want to be a centrist, that's evidence that you are a right-wing person. Like, dude, how's that evidence? Like, they say, like, gender's like a spectrum, right? But at the same time, you can't necessarily have a spectrum for, like, politics. Like, when I was taking that test, right, I was, like, all over the place for politics, right, at the beginning of this live stream. And so you can't necessarily say that politics is not a spectrum because obviously, of course, not everyone's going to be like 100% committed to something political. Like there are some good parts from both sides. And so when I took that test, I kind of agree with both sides on both things. So it's kind of strange people would say that actually. Really strange. School is for teaching how you think, not what to think. Exactly, man. Exactly. Well, anyway, guys, this whole entire episode will be short. I'm sorry, like the last episode was like an hour long, so this one is shorter. But thanks everybody for watching. I really, really appreciate it. As always, guys, I'll see you guys in the next episode. Take care.